Hello, everyone. Lucy says hello too. She stole my seat right before this, so I had to fight her for it back. Let's be honest, she probably deserves it more than I do. Okay, so this is my first live stream with the new YouTube live stream. So I hope you bear with me as I kind of work with how this works. Give everybody a few minutes to log on here and get situated. Grab your tea, your coffee, your drink of choice. Don't mean to be here for a super long time, so don't worry about it. But I just wanted to check in with you guys all here toward the end of the year. For me, December is sort of that end of the year wrap up, organize, get everything put in place for the new year. So sort of a preparation time for me. Yay, you caught me live. I'm so glad. Finland, hello. I try to do a live when people are expecting to normally see a class, because I know people usually log on at this time to see a class. So it works out perfectly to have it be also a live stream. So yes. Okay, so Lucy's gone over there for a few minutes. She'll probably come back. I have cats going in and out. That's sort of my life right now. So hello to everyone. If you're joining me either live or if you're joining me a little later on for the recap of this video, I appreciate your taking the time to join me at all. I wish you the very best. It has been a really interesting year. I say the word interesting with quotes around it because I know a lot of us have really worked through a lot or still working through a lot. Many of us are at home, are staying at home. Many of us are in countries where we are in a stay-at-home orders. So I certainly understand that feeling and all that's gone on this year. So what I want to start with is I want to start with a short meditation and reading, because I thought that would be a great way to sort of start a conversation. So we're going to go ahead and start with just a brief meditation. So if you're seated or if you're comfortable, if you're lying down joining me here, even if you're just sitting in a chair at your desk, go ahead and just take a moment to roll your shoulders back. Let some tightness dissipate here. Take your hands palms up or palms down onto your knees or in your lap. And just take a few moments to relax. And softly close your eyes. Or just soften your gaze. And just take a few deep breaths, just connecting with your breath, with that feel of the inhale, the exhale. Connecting with your body wherever it's touching the floor, your feet on the floor, your seat on a seat. And feeling that connection to the ground beneath you. This can be a time of year that we often feel very fast-paced, disconnected, and a struggle to really find center and grounding. On each exhale, allow your body to sink and settle a little bit more into your seat. And then begin to notice what your breath is like. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep? Is it shallow? There is no right or wrong here. There simply is what it is. And how does your breath feel What emotions do you attach to your breath right now? Quiet, peacefulness, satisfaction, hurry, uncertainty, love. Here again, there is no right or wrong. There just is what it is in this moment. Allowing the breath to be wherever and whatever it is. And then gently drawing your awareness to whatever sensations are around you. The sounds in the space that you're in. Starting with the sounds furthest away from you and just moving inward to those that are closest. Maybe the sound of your breath or your beat of your heart. Any smells or scents in the room. Maybe baking or smell of incense or candles or fresh air. And then drawing your awareness to your sense of touch. The fabric of your clothing, the brush of air across your skin, the feel of your seat on the surface or your feet on the floor. And then bringing your awareness back to your breath. Anchoring your awareness here in this inhale, this exhale. The breath is always here for you. Like the waves of the ocean, inhale, waves come in, and exhale, waves go out. And here, using those senses that we just explored to really focus on that breath. How does the breath feel? How does it sound? The smell of the breath. As we inhale through our nose, scents go in, and as we exhale, scents go out. Just a little poem for us today, a reminder at this end of the year, just for now. It's important to just be focused on the just for now. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you, and the infinite expanse of sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow a wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. Just for now, be boundless, free, awakened, energy tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are, so fully alive that when you open your eyes, the world looks different, newly born and vibrant, just for now. Softly bringing your awareness back to your seat and the space around you. And whenever you feel ready, gently opening your eyes, blinking a couple of times. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Just for now, taking that time. So some fun news, exciting news, celebrating today. This weekend, our community became a community of 20,000. I told this to my local studio and they said, you know, did you ever believe that something so small that you started with could become something so much larger? And the answer is no. I don't think when you start something you ever believe it's going to balloon out to something quite so big. But gratefully, it has, and it is such a loving, supportive community of each other and of me. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for being part of this community. And also, we have 1.5 million views, and I keep saying that word over and over again, that phrase, 1.5 million views. To me, that's amazing. I remember thinking a few years ago when I started this channel, about 5 years ago, that it would just be something I would do maybe once in a while. And that maybe I get a few views of the people that worked in my local studio that they would use it for when they were traveling. And it never occurred to me that 1.5 million times would things be viewed. So it's a really amazing opportunity here. So that is a huge thing. So thank you so much, celebrating all of that at the end of this year. Exponential growth every single year, and I'm always so grateful and so surprised. Always, I just think that it's just a miracle that I can share with people from everywhere. That's a really amazing experience for me. With that in mind, I will be actually taking a short break this month, in the month of December, to reboot, refocus, regenerate, to recharge my batteries. It has been a challenging year for all of us, I know, and for myself as well. And I really needed to take some time to process all of that and to put on my creative hat and sort of rekindle that creative sense of myself and spend more time with my family and my family, be at home with my family, my cats, my dog, my children, my husband, my family. So there will not be any new videos in December, but there are 275 videos out there on the YouTube channel. So I hope that you will explore them, explore the playlists, maybe find some new favorites, set up your own playlist with some new things, and branch out to look around and see what else there is in that. Of course, if you're always looking for specific things, you can always reach out to me at theyogaranger@outlook.com for a few, to just chat, make some suggestions, or ask for specific things. I often will have a video available or several, and I will send you those links back oftentimes, or I will put it on my list of things to create and film later date. So gone for December, but back again in January, ready for 2021. So I'll be back in 2021 with more stuff. But there's also other places you can find me. So this year, breaking into some new stuff, some new things happened this year, along with all that happened in the world. Thank you. Lots of new things. Insight Timer. I joined Insight Timer as a teacher and super excited to offer meditations there as well as on YouTube. There are 3 meditation practices there on Insight Timer under Aprille Walker, Aprille. Usually if you just type in that, Aprille, it pulls me up rather quickly because there's not very many people with that spelling. But Aprille Walker, and I am on Insight Timer now. I'll be uploading new meditations there quite frequently for a while here to kind of get a little bit more of a library there on Insight Timer. A great place to check out more meditations and options there. I have this year been offering New Moon live classes. These are New Moon classes that are about 60 to 65 minutes. They are live via Zoom. and they have been really fun and successful. We've been working through we have a different focus and a different affirmation each time for the new moon, setting a new intention for the new moon, and really connecting to that with a practice that is either a mindful flow or restorative or a yin yoga class. We've sort of varied it every other one. So sort of a variance there. And that also includes the yoga practice, the affirmation, pranayama or breath regulation, and then also a guided meditation practice. And those will continue into 2021. I love offering that. I think it's a really fun experience to see everybody on the screen and connect with people on the screen in a Zoom format, because then I can talk to people and share with people and I can see everyone. And it's for me, that's a really great experience. So those will continue. I think the first new moon is January 10th. It's on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I am in Texas, so that's Central Standard Time. So 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. The Sunday closest to the new moon. I try to put it closest to the new moon if it's right on it, or it might be a little bit before it, or a day or two after it, but it's really close to the new moon. So the Sunday morning, 10 a.m. New Moon Live will continue every single month in 2021. Some other new things, I will be adding some more things to Insight Timer, of course. I will adding some more things to my courses. If you have not checked out my courses, I put a link down below in this video for some of my courses. I have an Exploring the Root Chakra course, which includes yin meditation, pranayama, restorative, mindful flow, yin-inspired, along with affirmation sheets, information about the chakra, to go a little bit more in depth into the chakras. I will be adding more of those courses for each one of the chakras as we go next year, hopefully getting another few of them on there available for people to explore more. On those, they are fully downloadable. Once you access those, you can download all the files, you own those videos, and you can use them as often offline or online as you want, or you can continue to stream them there. That is unlimited streaming, online streaming. It's not going to change, so it's still there. So those are available. Also on there is Building a Sustainable Meditation Practice was offered this year. This is my version of an exploration of meditation as a whole. It's a 12-week course. Don't let that scare you. It's one meditation a week that's audio, a little video to introduce you to different styles and help you explore meditation in a different way. So when I started meditating, I was so confused. I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing. There was visualization, there was mantra, there was breath awareness, there was mindfulness, there was so many different options. And I really kind of wanted to explore them all and see which one worked for me, but that was kind of hard to do at the time. So in this 12-week course, I introduce you to sensory meditation, visualization, breath awareness, mantra, and let you sort of explore that, journal about it, experience it, and see how you can use it in your life and what calls to you right now. So that is also, once again, a fully downloadable, has extra things, links to other articles or videos that will help you on your pathway in building a sustainable home meditation practice, which I think is so very integral to mental health, physical health, and just fulfillment and happiness all together. So check that out. There's a link down below as well. And also, I will be offering next year something very new. I will be offering cacao ceremonies. So over the last 4 or 5 months, I have been really exploring cacao ceremonies in more depth. It's always been something that's sort of called to me, and I've sort of played around with it, but now it's been much more a part of every single week, sometimes twice a week. Really amazing experience. If you have not tried a cacao ceremony, I highly recommend it. I will be offering those most likely at this point in my mind on the solar cycle system. So I've been working with the solar cycles in an art therapy program, and I found it very interesting and very, very supportive for me as a whole. So the first one would be on Imbolc, which is the Scottish February, it's usually February 1st or somewhere near there. So the first cacao ceremony will be around that time, and I will be letting people know when that is and how to access that as well. But it will be a shared experience. So it will be some meditation and or breathing, some music and dancing, some journal prompts, some sharing time, and of course drinking cacao or whatever drink you would like to, but cacao is usually what a lot of people choose to have. So I will be sharing more information about that coming in the new year and how that will work as well. Those will be via Zoom. Once again, I want to see everybody and connect to everybody. So I really want to have that one-on-one interaction. Also coming in the new year, we had our first one this last year. In October, I hosted my first live online Yin Yoga teacher training. It was a 2-weekend event. We had 11 people graduate that program, and I'm super excited to have shared Yin Yoga as a practice, not only to deepen people's practice, but also to help them sort of find ways to teach it to their own community and in their own world they're working with. I'll be offering another one of those coming up in March. So early March will be the next Yin Yoga teacher training. It will be foundations, which is the poses, props, accessible yoga, the background of yoga, meridians, focusing on meridians and what they are, what they do, what is fascia, what does it do, how does it work, and generally all of those questions for the basics. In the fall, I will be offering a transformation level 2 Yin Yoga teacher training, which will be about sequencing almost exclusively. We will talk about all the ways to sequence and how to build sequences around different theories, ideas, themes, and that. And we're working very deeply with that. And I will let people know when that's coming out. I haven't decided the exact date, but the date for the foundations training is March 6 and 7 and 13, 14. So check that out. There's a link down below for the next Yin Yoga teacher training. And there's an early bird sign up until the end of January to get a discount. So it's a good idea to try to check that out earlier rather than later, so you get the discount rate as well. So let me see what else. More live classes, hopefully coming. Like I said, the Cacao ceremony, as well as live new moon classes. More mindful flow. This is something I really wanted to kind of put out there. I know a lot of people know me as the yin and restorative and meditation teacher. And what I originally started with was a vinyasa and hatha yoga teacher. And that's where my roots and my beginnings were and always have been. I do love the practice. Most people, I think, possibly assume that I don't teach that or don't offer it or don't practice that. That is very much not the truth. I practice vinyasa flow or mindful flow about 5 out of 7 days a week on my own practice, and I do teach it in my local studio. So it is a very important part of my practice as well. I like to bring balance. So the yin and the yang, always balancing that restorative and yin with a yang practice to really bring greater balance to the mind and body. So I have been really being called to maybe offer a little bit more of that. I've had people reach out via email and via message saying, you know, we'd love to see more of that from you. So in the next year, we will having more of those mindful flow practices. Now, I call them mindful flow because they're not always necessarily slow flow. They're not vinyasa flow. They're not really hatha. They're sort of my version of flow yoga, which for me is a very almost yin restorative perspective, which is to move slowly, mindfully, connected with the breath and really checking in with the body. Always keeping in mind that this is your practice. You should be working with your body in the moment, just like we do in yin, and finding that edge for yourself, finding your poses, finding your shape. So for me, that is called mindful flow. So more mindful flow classes in the new year. I already have January and February filmed, so there are several of those on there. More yin-inspired classes, which is my blended class of myofascial release, sometimes yin yoga poses, flow, and then also moving into a yin again at the end as a closeout. So I feel like yin is great for really kind of stretching the body deeply, and then we have the flow to move, and then we have that yin to help soften and soothe back into our shavasana. So there'll be more yin-inspired classes coming as well. And more yoga nidra. Lots more yoga nidra. I have been doing yoga nidra. I've done a period of time of it several times over my career of teaching, but The longest I've done it has been this last 7 weeks. So for 7 weeks, every single day, I have done yoga nidra every single day. And it has been what I would call a life-changing experience, a life-supportive experience. So I would like to offer more yoga nidra both here on YouTube as well as on Insight Timer. And in order to kind of offer that out there, I think it can be a very healing and restorative practice. Thank you all. Yes, body focus practice, more practices. Yoga nidra. So if you don't know what yoga nidra is, it's a really wonderful practice. It is not really a practice. It's not really a meditation. It's a state of being. So what it is often a body scan, breath awareness, sensory awareness, and then we move you through the body in a body scan in order to connect you to this deep, relaxed state where your body and your mind are sort of almost asleep, but your consciousness is still there. And so in that point of that consciousness still being there, you can do what we call plant a seed or a sankalpa or intention. And it will help you manifest that because it's in that natural state of not being distracted and you're fully relaxed and fully receptive to that. So if you have not tried yoga nidra before, it is a beautiful practice. I'll be uploading more of those. I do have some on this channel. If you've not taken a look at those, I do have, I believe, 4 or 5 yoga nidras. So look in the meditation playlist and those are down below. And I'll be adding more of those as we go. And that is all the more stuff. If you are looking for even more classes, I will be offering a lot more classes as well on the member site. The member site is kind of that place where we get the YouTube without ads, and then we also get more classes. So we get every single week, the member site gets new fresh classes for them as well. And those are often the more extended classes. Sometimes they're the ones from 70 to 90 minutes long because that's often requested. There's a lot of other things on the member site, and there is a 7-day free trial. So if you ever wanted to check it out, you can check it out and see what's going on there and check it out for 7 days and see what you think and if it's for you. That member site does a couple of things. It helps support YouTube. So that income helps support my ability to produce and create on YouTube as well. And I also take a portion of those proceeds, 7% of what I get on the member site also gets donated to animal rescue causes. So that is a thing that's very, very special to my heart. You know that I have 6 cats and a dog. So for me, animal rescue causes, every one of them is a rescue, is very, very special to me. So I try to donate a portion of everything that I earn or bring in to those causes to help support those who are rescuing those special little lives like Lucy and PJ and Link and Patty and Nemo and Sherlock and Daphne. So I know that someone helped save them, and my helping someone do that means that more animals are saved and adopted out into good homes. So that's important to me as well. So definitely check out the member site. There's new stuff added all the time. And there's also the New Moon Live classes are free to those members. It's always accessible to them, so they get the free New Moon classes and free workshops and discounts on things as well as the courses. So there's lots of things added onto that member site as well, plus a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff on the member site. So there's over 415 videos on the member site. So lots of stuff to do on there. And we also have live chats and talks. And whenever you want to send me anything or request anything, usually I am right there on it and you will get your requests. In fact, a couple of the videos coming up on the member site in January and February were requested classes. So I often try to respond to those first and foremost. So check out the member site. That's the yogaranger.vhx.tv. That's the member site available. Lots of stuff on there. If you're interested in chakras, that's a great place to be because I just realized a lot of chakra classes on there. Restorative, yin, meditation, pranayama, longer pranayama practices will be on there. Oh, and one more thing for YouTube. Next year, I will be exploring pranayama with all of you. I would like to offer more practices with pranayama to introduce you to the practice of including that in your practice habits. Pranayama is something you can do no matter what your condition or day or how you feel, pranayama is always there for you, and it can be very invigorating and calming and soothing and healthy for your body to practice pranayama practices or breath regulation. So those are also coming in the new year. Are the videos on the website totally different from the ones on YouTube? There is an overlap of both. So all the YouTube videos are also on the member site without ads. And then they get new videos that are exclusive to the member site as well. So each week there'll be a YouTube video that will be sent there, and there will also be a new practice sent there. So there's 2 practices a week. There's a Sunday and a Thursday practice on the member site, if that makes more sense. How do you get back? I've taken a break from, I like this. I've taken a break from practicing and feel bad about how do I get back to it. Don't ever feel bad about taking a break. You must have needed a break for some reason. Sometimes I'll take a break for a week and then I'll be like, get back on the mat. And the easiest way to do that is say to yourself, I'm going to do one pose, just one, 5 minutes. Step on the mat, and I can promise you the moment you step on your mat for those 5 minutes, that one pose, you will stay there and you will say, one more pose, one more pose, one more pose. And I find that the minute I just do that one pose, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go longer. And then at some point I'll just say, I'm done. I need to stop now. So just step on the mat. That is the thing I can say. Every time I feel like I've pulled back from my practice or I feel like I need inspiration, just step on the mat and say, I'm going to do one pose. And it can be any pose. It could be tree pose. It could be a yin pose. It could be shoelace or deer. It could be a restorative supine bound angle. Anything you do is beneficial. Don't think that you have to practice for 45 minutes to an hour every day to reap the benefits of meditation or pranayama or yoga practice. Any time you spend is healthy and beneficial for you mentally and physically and emotionally. So know that is just step on the mat for 5 minutes. Just say, I'm going to do one pose a day, 5 minutes, 1 minute of meditation. It's all you need to start back on there. So yes. Hello, you're from Jordan. Well, welcome. It's so nice to see people from around the world. I love this. So looking through all the chat, I want to make sure I respond to everybody. I'm so excited that you guys are excited. I am. I'm so excited that you're going to join me. Definitely join me. I know that I've sort of focused on yin and restorative, and I want to say that I do love yin and restorative, and I'm not letting those go. I'm certainly not going to stop producing those because they are somewhere very close to my heart. But I think there's a balance to be had, and a mindful flow movement. I know that many of us have very limited time. So I've tried to start doing practices like for the morning that are 20 to 30 minutes or 10 to 30 minutes. And late at night, right before bed, 10 to 15-minute practices, just so you can get the practice in and feel better and settle in. So there'll definitely be more of those practices so you can make sure that they fit into your schedule and you don't feel like you have to go far. Exactly. Child's pose. Just do child's pose for 5 minutes. Child's pose is a great pose. I always start in child's pose. I either start in actually pretty much always start in child's pose. It's one of those poses that makes your back feel better, makes your hips feel better, opens up your chest. If you take your arms out in front of you, it's that pose that actually started me on yoga. I think that's really interesting, is that I had a lot of back pain after having my 2 children and carrying them around because babies are heavy and they get bigger and they get heavier. And that was the pose that turned me on to yoga, was child's pose. So definitely look at child's pose as one of those, the minute you do that, you'll be there, and you can be there in child's pose. You can be there for a long time and it still feels good. And then you start to walk your hands over and stretch your hands over and take a side body stretch in child's pose. And then you've got basically 3 poses in one, and you just did it in one space. Do I ever use a soft roller for myofascial release instead of tune-up balls? This is a question I get quite often. I used to use a foam roller when I first started, but I'm going to say something about foam rollers. The body is not flat. The muscles are not flat. They are rounded and there are spaces in between. And when you do a foam roller, you're flattening over the surface like rolling over dough. You're just kind of flattening the dough on a flat surface. The body doesn't do that. So if you try making, like, I bake a lot. If you try rolling dough over something that's lumpy, you don't get into the sides of it. So myofascial release balls or tennis balls, even though they sometimes are more uncomfortable and even sometimes painful, are far more effective in releasing myofascial tension and releasing the muscles and moving the fascial tissue around better than a foam roller. So I don't use a foam roller anymore. In fact, I think I just got rid of it about 2 months ago because it wasn't getting in where I needed it to get in as deeply. So for me, it works better. For some people, I recommend it. They start with a foam roller. So roll out with a foam roller first, and that'll break up some of the adhesions of the fascial tissue at the very top layer, and then do the myofascial release balls afterwards for a little more depth. Myofascial release is not comfortable. Yin is not comfortable. I get this question a lot. Yin is not meant to be comfortable. Fascia is very tight and interwoven, and breaking that apart and shifting it and moving it and stretching it, it can stretch a very tiny amount. And changing that in any way can be incredibly uncomfortable. But if you do myofascial release with tune-up balls or tennis balls, and you do it consistently, like every single week, you change a body part every single day, you can do 5 minutes of a different space of your body, you will find that you will prevent headaches, back pain, leg pain, tension tightness, tension headaches, jaw issues as well. And you will also release a lot of your body. Your mobility will change dramatically. When I started using myofascial release balls consistently, I remember when I started, there were tears. It is quite painful sometimes when you have a really stuck spot. But after a few weeks, now I lay on them. It doesn't hurt me quite the way it did at all. It's maybe a little uncomfortable when I'm really sore, but even when soreness, so if you're working out with weights or in a gym, you can use those myofascial release balls afterwards to really help the body come back and recover faster. So it is a recovery technique as well, just like yin is as a recovery. So yin is a type of myofascial release. So you can use it as a myofascial release technique, but I still recommend those tennis balls and myofascial release balls because they're wonderful. Pain in the hip flexors when I fold over. It's painful to sit in child's pose. What can I do to get back into that pose? I would do more stuff with the hip flexors. If you're sitting a lot, and I've found myself sitting a lot lately, and I know this is the pose that no one loves, dragon pose or swan, particularly swan or sleeping swan, but particularly swan upright, which in a young class is called pigeon pose. Really helps open that. Saddle pose. I know lots of people don't like that pose either, but a supported saddle pose really opens up. Even just sitting back and leaning back and opening up the front of that hip space. You can also myofascial release the balls into that space too to roll it out. And you just basically lay face down, stick the balls right in that little tuck spot. You kind of feel your thumbs dig in, and you put it right there and kind of hang on to it, and then roll it out a little bit further step by step, and then back in to help release that space, and then move up into the psoas. So hip flexors often are psoas related as well. You have that psoas a little deeper in, so not just the front of the hips itself, but a little deeper into the pelvis. You can take those two balls right inside the pelvic bones. You can feel the bones sticking in. I can feel them right now. You slide that tennis ball or myofascial release ball in just a little bit and lay on top of it. Now, I will warn you, it does not feel good, but if you stay there and just breathe through it on your elbows or your forearms, or even on a prop that will support you so you don't have all your weight completely on there at first, you will suddenly feel a release. It will release up your back and in the front of your pelvis. So if you stay there for a little while and have a little patience, it will open up that space, and that fold over will get a little bit more opening. I know that I have a left side that gets stuck quite often, so I have to work with it a little bit more than my right. We are asymmetrical beings. That is okay. It's a beautiful thing. So I often work with the left a little bit more, but really opening that up. And I find that for me, and I will openly admit this, I love dragon pose for this exact reason, is that if the longer I stay in dragon pose, the more that hip flexor opens up. And when I come out of it, there is so much mobility there, just so much. But saddle pose will often do something like that, and so will swan. So maybe try some of those. And that'll help with child's pose. You can also roll a towel or a blanket up like a little bit thin and tuck it into that space between the hip point and the leg or the thigh to give you a little cushioning, or take a prop like a couple of blocks and a blanket on top, or a pillow or a bolster, and lay on that and see if that helps a little bit to lift you up instead of flattening so far down, because in child's pose, we do tend to have a little tilt forward, and that compresses that front hip flexor a little bit more. So maybe taking some of the tilt out will give you a little bit more opening in sort of that clamshell shape. Okay. What else do we have? I'm looking through everybody's. You're welcome. Somebody else enjoyed the meditation course. It's fun to explore on meditation, and I think in a course where you can have access to all of those things, where you can try them all, it's kind of fun. It's fun to explore and see what you like best. And what I always say in meditation is, if you don't like something, that's okay. Keep it in the back of your mind as a practice, because somewhere in your life you will return to it. I promise you that will happen, because I started with visualization, was the only thing I connected to. And now I love sensory meditation. So it's a changing thing. You'll find different things in your life that you'll need them for. So some ideas as well. Anybody else have any questions? This is a great time to answer all those, right? I'm so glad, Katie. I hope that helps. If it doesn't, send me an email directly, and we'll figure out some other things to do and come up with things. I hope you guys know that I answer all my emails. Like, I really do. I personally answer all my emails, and usually within 24 to 48 hours, unless it's a weekend. So I have people asking questions. They'll say, this pose doesn't make sense for me. Often I will have them send me a picture of them in the pose, and I can kind of work with what they're doing, and we can figure out something that works better for them, and with some suggestions and ideas. So I'm always open to do that. So please feel free to reach out to me via email. Oh, body hair products do I use? Sometimes Amazon discontinues things. Most of what I use right now, I use for hair is Ion, a company called Ion. I used Acure for a long time, which is a wonderful product line. Acure is a great company, so it's ACURE. They can be found in different places. Maybe Amazon might not carry them anymore, but somebody else usually does. But Ion is another company. I try to choose companies that are, it's a list. I have a list in mind. Eco-friendly, vegan, don't test on animals. I do not want to use products that are tested on animals. That's probably number one, but eco comes in very close to that. Something that is a non-toxic, no coloration, no scents, no unnatural anything. I do not want fake fragrances in my products. If you use an essential oil, that's fine. I prefer it be organic if we can, and potentially recycled bottling if I can. Clothing is recycled for me. I try to get recycled, that's stuff that's recycled. So Ion is a company that I've been using for a while. For skincare and body products, I'm going to admit this here, I make the majority of my own, and that way I can ensure that they are natural. So deodorant, moisturizer for my face and for my family, toothpaste, all of those are made by me at home. Body scrub for the shower is made at home. Any soap products I have are made from like an almond oil based soap that is all natural, and I mix that with water and a couple of essential oils, and that is my soap for the house. I steer away from chemical-based products as much as possible. So, and that's where I usually get all of my stuff. I make a lot of it. It's so easy to make stuff. I want you guys to know that it's really less complicated than you think it is. It's so much easier. And then you can control when the seasons change. If your skin gets drier, you can add more of something, or if your hair gets drier, or you can change it out to match the seasons. And I love body scrub in the shower. I use a sugar scrub, and I make it myself with coconut oil and shea butter and essential oils. But in the winter, I use like peppermint or cinnamon for the winter, fall, and like in the spring I'll use like orange and lemon, and things that kind of fit the season. It's kind of fun to do that. So, and it's in terms of time, it goes really fast. I make like about every 6 weeks I make a sugar scrub. It takes me about 2 to 3 minutes to throw it together. Deodorant, same thing. You just melt it really quick in the microwave, dump it into a thing, put it in the refrigerator to chill, and it's like 4 or 5 ingredients. So it's really easy to make. There are some recipes on my member site too for a lot of this stuff. I give my recipes away. They're on the member site under Living Green. So they're available there too. Food and yoga, absolutely. I say, I think you become much more conscious of what you eat and how you eat and the reason you're eating when it comes to yoga. Yoga brings you more body awareness, which has always been one of the things that's really been important for me as a teacher and as a practitioner, is that my body awareness is so different. And I want for yoga to help people be more body aware. When you are body aware, you're aware of what you put into your body and how that affects you. And you're much more careful about that. You're more thoughtful about it. You're more mindful and connected to your food, where it came from, the sensory experience of your food. I now smell everything before I eat it, and I look at it very carefully to see what it looks like, and I connect with it on a sensory level. So it's very different. And yoga really kind of teaches you to be more mindful and aware, and much more careful about what you're doing. I also think that yoga has another side to it. It helps you move through emotions and emotional blockages and thoughts that are negative and difficult to manage and challenging. And in doing that, a lot of people, myself included, have had a lifetime of disordered eating in which we eat emotionally, like we emotionally eat in response to emotional outbreaks or stress. And so with yoga helps you move through that and process it so that you don't feel like food has to be the answer for that. So I find that I am much less of an emotional eater than I once was. And I'm able to stop and say, okay, I'm about to eat something that is not particularly healthy for me because I am emotionally upset or stressed out. And I can choose right here and now whether I'm going to do that or not. So it slows me down and makes me really think about what I'm doing. So, okay, consider making ASMR videos with your very soothing voice alone. I haven't thought of that. That's actually an interesting idea. ASMR. I've had a kind of weird relationship with ASMR, so I'm not sure. But I think that with Insight Timer being audio only, that might be more of, and some of those are definitely going to be a little bit slower meditations, because I think they're longer. So they're a little bit longer on Insight Timer. Most of them are, and they will be. And they are more sound only. So you kind of know that they're going to be just a guided with my voice. So if you have not checked out Insight Timer, it's free. It's absolutely free. And it's an app that has millions of wonderful meditations. It's a wonderful, very supportive platform. And those are all audio. Everything on there is completely audio. So something to try out. But no, I will actually think about that though. I have some more. So thank you. I hope my voice is soothing. Let's see. Anything else? Anybody else? Let's see. No, I think that's everybody. I think that's everything. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This went a little bit longer than I expected, but that's okay. It's good to answer people's questions. I love this format a lot better. Previously, I've uploaded live chats without the chat streaming for me to see it. So this is a new way of doing it. And I really like having people ask me questions directly on there. So it's super helpful because I want to know what you're wanting to ask about and your questions as to what's going on with you. And there aren't any questions that are off the board for me. You can ask me anything you want. Why do I have 6 cats, right? Because I can't stop collecting them. And they're so sweet, and they claim me and come home with me. It's totally not my fault. Lucy is dead asleep on my lap. If everybody wasn't here, which, oops, I'll pick her up, and she might not be happy about it, but here she is. Lucy has been gone. I know, I'm sorry. She's been gone for COVID. As soon as March started, Lucy said she would no longer film with me. And as soon as we went into lockdown, Lucy stopped filming with me. I think she knows something. PJ has graciously taken over her spot. He's not quite as nimble, but he does talk a lot and help guide you in the practice. So PJ helps. And Link runs through and generally destroys my room. So Link is the little black kitten that pretty much destroys everything in my house, but he's very cute, so he gets away with it. And then Patty has been joining me a little bit, my little tiny fluffy kitten that people love to see. So he's been there a little bit. But Lucy, I don't know when she'll come back. She's been she will not involve herself since COVID started. So when COVID is over, Lucy comes back, right? I hope that's the case. And I'm so glad that other people have their cats joining them for practice. I think cats have a great special place. To me, they're not a distraction. They are a awareness, bringing myself back to the present and engaging with them and really connecting on a different level. And their purrs are so incredibly soothing and calming and loving and supportive. So I think cats serve an amazing assistantship to the practice. And Lucy's just hilarious. I really have no idea what she's going to do next on a daily basis. Oh, thank you, Paula. Dogs are great. Daphne's great, but Daphne, my dog, I do have a dog. Nobody ever sees her. Daphne, my dog, is about 50-pound blended Heinz 57 dog. And she's super sweet. And she's a really great dog, but she has her liquor license. And the moment you get near the floor, like anywhere between halfway down on your knees or otherwise, she will not stop licking you. And she will get really invasive with it. So she's kind of hard to film with because you can't stop laughing and you spend your entire time slightly damp from the dog licking you. So cats luckily don't do quite as much of that. So they're a little bit easier to work with. But yeah, Lucy, some people ask me, did I train Lucy to do any of that? No, Lucy does whatever she wants to do. And I am always surprised when she jumps on my back or climbs up on me because it is not what I was expecting. And it is not at all what I thought she was going to do. And she's very unpredictable. So you never know. PJ is the same way. PJ likes to love nip. He doesn't bite you. He kind of gums you, and he likes to gum me a lot. So he reaches out. If you see him like leaning down, he's usually kind of nipping at me to tell me what to do. So it's kind of fun to work with PJ. And Link, once again, just destroys everything. So but he's a sweet kitty. He's a very sweet kitty. Okay, well, thank you so much too for joining me. Thank you. Have a restorative, restful period of time for all of you as well. And I hope you all have a wonderful December. Stay safe, stay well. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you be at peace at all times. I'm sending out great thoughts and wishes for each one of you. Kisses to all of you and hugs. Thank you so much for joining me this year online. And I look forward to 2021 with all of you and more news. One last thing, if you have not been on my newsletter informs you of everything that's going on. So you can sign up for the newsletter on my website, which is theyogaranger.com. You can join the newsletter there. I send out a newsletter usually every week, but in December there will only be 2. That tells you of all the discounts, all the new videos that came out, all the new meditations that came out, and every new course that comes out is all on there for you to just click and choose what you want to do with it as well. I often write a little blog on there, a little story of my life or what's going on or something I'm experiencing, and share that with you to see if it helps at all, brings a little light, sometimes poems and other things like that. So check that out for new information that comes quickest through there as well. You do need to sign up for the newsletter. I don't do anything other than send you a newsletter. That's all I do with it. Your email just goes into my system and I send you a newsletter, and you get a newsletter through your email once a week on the average. Like I said, in December, just 2 this month, and it'll give you everything for that as well. So thank you. So yeah, just check that out, and I will see you all in 2021. Thank you so much and have a great December.